What's up guys, and welcome to the 12th episode of my Road to Ultimate My Night Squad. In this episode we are going to be covering the first 8 games which I did complete in the weekend league that just passed, which was all BPL players, a minimum of 16 of them in your starting 11 and subs. So in this week we won't be versing up against any Ronaldos, Bales, Benzemas, all these amazing players like Robin, Lewandowski, all these players. We won't be versing them up against them, hopefully. But the people can make absolutely ridiculous hybrids from BPL that could lead on to other leagues as well. You don't necessarily have to have don't necessarily have to have these people. If you've got a perfect link, our enemy people could make these ridiculous hybrids that could involve some of these players as well. But anyways, aside from that, we do make a signing in these in the first few minutes of this video. We do make 2 signings. First one being Anthony Martial in a left forward, because I'm going to be using him up front, not on the left mid, because I want to take out Wilson and start using Rashford and Martial, which brings us closer of getting rid of all the silvers in our squad. And as you can see, the second one was Henrik Mkhitaryan from right mid, which will give rest to, I think, Lingard. We'll give rest to Lingard, and we do take out Wilson there, as you saw a couple of moments ago, and we do take out Sam Johnston, which we're never going to use. I only used him once. He did pretty good, but anyways, that is the checklist. You're going to have to go full screen for that if you want to see. I'm going to be, every time I do a signing, I will be ticking off who I sign in which category they are, as you saw. And we do buy Mr. Jose Mourinho there, because we couldn't have a full Man United squad without the actual manager of Man United in the team. So we get into our first game of this weekend league. To be honest, as I said, there won't be any Ronaldos or Bales or anything, but we do come up against a guy who has got a full BPL, but he's got 9 golden and Mertens. We do take the lead here. Martial assisting Mata right there to get Martial's first assist in this club. But then 3 minutes later, he does get a goal. He comes here with Jamie Vardy, sweats it across the box. Dembele is there to hit it home. It wasn't until the 36th minute, 5 minutes later, he does go through with Jamie Vardy right there, and he does make it 2-1 in the 36th minute, as I said. But then in the 80th minute, he did put it to bed completely with Mertens, and then Mata again connecting with Martial to get his first goal of this club, which is brilliant for him. It did take me about 8 minutes just to get a bit used to him. I've never played him alone up front. I usually have a partner with him, which is usually Vardy on my main account, or Andre Gray or Hazard as a left forward up front. But it's just gonna have to work as of right now. I have got to grips with him, which is pretty good. But we get into our second game straight away. We do get a penalty within 5 minutes here actually. I think it was Phil Jones, and that got brought down, and we do finish out with Mata. But then it wasn't until the 31st or 32nd minute where he did go through with Olivier Giroud, and he did make it 1-0. And then Schweinsteiger, using his pace, 53 pace, to get forward, assist Martial to get his second goal in his second game, which is pretty good going for him. He's getting off the mark now, which is pretty good for us as well. We're getting used to him, which is pretty good for us as well. I don't know if that was the right move actually, taking out Wilson and putting Martial up front. I don't know. I need to try the team out in seasons and see what happens. We go straight into our third game. We do concede in the 50th minute, but we do make it back 1-0 with a beautiful goal from Mkhitaryan for his first goal as well. And then Ross Barkley gets it here outside the box, inside the foot. The keeper just stood there doing nothing, and then Jordan Henderson passing it to Ogbonna. I mean, look at that. The keeper cannot be conceding that from a centre back outside the box. It's just ridiculous of how that went in, especially from a centre back that's only got like 47 shot or something on him. But aside from that, all we took was the 600 odd coins that we got from that game, and we do go straight in, and we do go to the trade pile, and see the players that we had in our club, and we just like listen them up for their minimum price and their max buy now. And we sold Mertesacker for 4.7k for some reason. I don't know why he's going for that much at the moment. But we go into our fourth game, and we do take the lead here with Martial. Beautiful goal from him within 5 minutes, but it wasn't until the 8th minute, 3 minutes later, he gets the ball here with Son. 5-star weak foot. I hate Son. I mean, coming up against him is like one of the worst things you could ever ask for. He just scores too many goals against me, as you will see in this weekend league. Which is pretty bad for us because we can't use Son. We can't use him because he's not even Man United. But we do use a player, as you will see in the coming up episodes, just to help us just a bit. I didn't purpose. I did use him as a lone player. It was a striker. You'll see in the next couple of episodes of who I actually buy. I only bought him because I didn't want to use Rashford as a backup striker. As a backup, as a super sub. I wanted to use someone else that I've used a lot on my main account, and he was one of the players. I'm not going to mention who it is until you actually see it. He was a brilliant player. He saved me in a lot of games in this weekend league, but he's going to be one of the players that I use only as a super sub. I'm not going to use him as a starting person because the real thing is to build the ultimate Man United squad, which I'm trying to do. So just that's basically what it is. He's just going to be used as a super sub in the upcoming weekend leagues that we do qualify for. We get into our fifth game. We did win the last game, which makes our second win and our second loss. We get into our fifth game, and we do win it, which makes it our third win of this weekend league and our second win in a row, which is pretty good going for us. So we've got 5 wins. No, we've got actually at this point, we have got 3 wins actually on the board, which is pretty good for us. We do go into our 6th game and our third last game of this episode. We do take the lead. We get a ball here off from the halfway line and we pass it. Young's there. Young will go forward and finish it. It wasn't until the I think it was the 35th minute where he did get 1 goal back, which was the only goal, I'm going to say it now, the only goal he will get in this game, because we do go through here with Henrik Mkhitaryan. We see Rooney, pass it to Rooney, and then we see Schneiderlin, and then we get assist from Rooney, a goal from Schneiderlin. We do go through here with Rooney, see Young, sweat it across, get a bit lucky here, but he does end up finishing it to make it 4-1 me and make it our let me see, 1, 2, fourth win out of 6 games, which is pretty brilliant for us. Possibly one of our best starts in this weekend league as well. But you'll see what happens in the next 2 games, which makes it either better for us or worse. Well, you just have to find out in the next 2 games. We do take the lead here with, I think it was Depay, and then 32nd minute we do double our lead with Rashford, and then just before halftime he does get 1 goal back with Immobile. But that was the game. I mean, that was only 2-1 in this game. We do win our 3rd game, actually our 4th game in a row with this weekend league, which is pretty good going. 4 wins and 2 losses. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins and 2 losses in this weekend league, which is pretty brilliant for us. We're getting better and better every week, which is progress as well, and getting better rewards, which is another thing. Basically, that's benefiting for us as well. We get into our last game of this episode. He did take the lead with Vardy there. Brilliant goal from him. 3 minutes later, Mata does finish in the 34th minute. Rashford slips through Lingard. He scores in the 34th minute. 62nd minute, he does come through here with Martial. Gets the better of my defenders, and he does make it 2-2. In the 80th minute, I did come through here with Rashford in and out the defenders, and he does go through and finish it. But it wasn't until the 89th minute I did concede a penalty, in which he did convert here, as you're going to see in a couple of moments. He did convert up with Yaya Toure. He did miss, and actually I did save it, and he did get the deflection onto Yaya Toure. This is going to be the last goal, and just before this video ends, I'm going to say I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you for another 10 games tomorrow for another upload. Thanks for everything. I'll see you tomorrow.